Hey everybody, this is your girl, Qadriyyah
Hello
Marie
there.
of On the View with Qadriyyah Marie. What's up, Na-Tasha? I know we're just getting started. I like to give people a couple minutes to come on. So while we do that, before the show gets started, I'm just gonna start with the 30-second countdown. So we are back. Happy Wellness Wednesday to everybody that is tuning in to tonight's show. Today is Wednesday, August the 9th, 2023. I'm feeling good about this show for a few reasons. It's a topic that's very much necessary to be discussed in this day and age. There's no time frame, to talk about it. I feel like this is something that needs to be discussed no matter, what month of the year it is. So before, we get started, I see a few people starting to come on. I would like my lovely guest that you guys see. I would like her to just introduce herself and let all you guys know, who she is and what she's about. So Na-Tasha, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you, Q. So, my name is Natasha, CEO and founder of All Things Purposeful. I am a suicide prevention instructor, mental health coach, as well as a grief recovery specialist. My mission, I believe, and my purpose on this earth is to help people not only see the purpose in what they're going through, but to give them the hope that they need to prevent as many suicides as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is powerful what you just said. That's that one line of what it is that you're trying to do for others. Very very important role that you're playing. So I want to get into
Thank
the
you.
first question. You're welcome. I want to get into the first question for tonight. I'll briefly goes into what you just said, but how did your business start and where did the name come from? All things purposeful.
So it actually came from a scripture in the Bible,
Right.
Romans 8:28, that states, "And we know that all things work together to the good of though." I'm sorry, I'm messing it all up. All things work together for the good of them who love God and who are called according to His purpose. Um, at that time, I was homeless, living with my great grandmother in her studio apartment. And
Mm,
God told me to start this business to encourage people through t-shirts. And I was like, how you want me to start a business and I ain't even got nowhere to lay my head that I call my own?
right.
And he's like, well, nobody's opening up an apartment door for you anyway at this moment. So you might as well start something else while you're going through something else.
Mm,
And I was like, okay, no problem. But then I said, okay, God, well, all things purposeful. How do you expect me to tell people that certain things happen for their good? Like, I was real confused. Like,
mm,
I wasn't one of those people that started a business with a why, knowing my target audience, none of that. I
right.
just followed the lead of God and did what He told me to
Mm,
do. And we've been in business for, it'll be 5 years this year.
wow.
And He's literally like, just about every situation I went through, He's literally told me why everything happened or how it worked for my good.
Right.
Prime example, my 9 to 5 is I'm a peer recovery specialist. I help people off drugs and alcohol. If
Mm,
my mother and father had not traveled down that road, I wouldn't have the heart and compassion to work with those people.
right.
I work for a nonprofit that deals with homelessness. Had I not experienced that myself, I wouldn't be able to help anybody else. So we branched off. We started as our brand, which is our inspirational t-shirts. Then we went into the customs part, and now we have the services part, which is the mental health coach, the suicide prevention instructor, and the certified grief recovery specialist.
And I guess that will go into the next question because you just touched on it a little bit. What is the main purpose of your brand slash your business? 'Cause I know you have a few different things going on, and tonight we're focused mostly on.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I know you have a lot on your plate to work on. You're out there doing your thing.
Yeah, it's a lot. So basically to encourage people, because when it comes to suicide prevention, people, the reason why they want to take their own life is because they A, feel hopeless, and B, they want to end the emotional pain. So if you can give them that hope that life gets better, because I'm also a survivor and I became an advocate with the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. Once you can let them know, like, listen, I've been there, I know what you feel like, it's going to get better. You may not see the light at the end of the tunnel now,
Right.
but trust me, it does. It instantly helps them to understand and to see, you know what, maybe she's right. Okay, you know what, she went through it, she felt this way, and look at her thriving now. So that's the main purpose, whether it's on a t-shirt, whether you see a I am purposeful t-shirt, whether you see the I can't lose when God planned for me to win t-shirt. The main goal is to keep people encouraged.
And I think that's the biggest goal you can have. Is encouraging people and motivating them, whether it's for suicide, prevention or something else. I feel like that should
Right.
always be a goal too, and I try to do that. As far as one to always help others in different ways.
Right.
There's different ways you can go about. I feel like we all have something that we can offer. Like you said, what you just saying, what you went through. There's reasons why you went through that. And, of course, when you're going through it at the
Yes.
time, realizing that now is it to help benefit you in the future, but it may be to help somebody else.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm sweating over here.
I know you sweating and stuff. I have my fan on and stuff. So I had to turn my fan on and
It's, you know what it is? It's this ring light.
yeah. I have central air, but I don't want to turn it on because I feel like I might get too cold. So I'm like, let me just let the fresh air from the outside come in.
Right.
So the next question
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to you about is when and how did the suicide prevention come into play as far as your main goal and as part of your business.
So, as I stated, I am a survivor. It's been
Mm-hmm.
7 years since my attempt. And I've always talked people off the ledge. That has never been an issue for me. Like, people call me, and I've always successfully stopped them from committing suicide. After
Mm-hmm.
getting the grief recovery specialist certification last year, going through the mental health coach training, there go God again with that voice, and he goes, "I want you to get the instructor certification." God, why? I talk people off the ledge just fine. I don't need nothing teaching me. I
Right.
do this with no problem. He said, no, so you could teach other people what to do, because
Mm-hmm.
we are unknowledgeable as people about a lot of things, right? Like, we don't know
Right.
what to do in the case of someone stop breathing, or
Right. We
heart
don't.
attacks.
Yeah.
It's not like we as humans just sit at work or at school or in travel and look this stuff up, like, oh, what do I do? Like,
Right.
we don't know. We're afraid to ask the questions. We're afraid to inquire. We're even afraid to just even listen to somebody, because at the end of the day, all it honestly takes, Q, is active listening. If I can
Mm.
listen to you rant,
I
rave
believe
about
that.
what you're going through, you're going to feel a lot better, right? So I was like, okay, God, I'm going to get into it. And it's like, soon as I got that piece of paper in my hand, it's like something in me just like, I can't even explain it. It was just like, I knew the purpose was there, but something in me literally was like, went into overdrive mode. I was like, okay,
Wow.
I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. It's like I was just, now that's all, like, it's tunnel vision for me now. It's
Yeah.
literally tunnel vision. Now it's like, okay, I'm doing the walk in October. We're raising money for the American Foundation of
Mm-hmm.
Suicide Prevention,
Mm-hmm.
because we can help people. And if I teach you what to do and you come across somebody next week, you have the tools and the knowledge to know what to do without being afraid or without saying, okay, I don't know what to say. I don't know, what questions. I don't want to step on it. It's just
Right.
knowing and having confidence on what to do. And that's exactly how it happens.
So is it a long process to become a recovery specialist? I don't know if I'm saying the name correct, but
So to get the certification for the suicide prevention, it's an hour. I do an hour course through something called Blue Jeans because Zoom was a little pricey. Blue Jeans is a little free. Just a plug
yeah.
if you ever need some webinar software. And I do it or I can do it in person. And it's an hour. You get all of your materials, your certificate, everything. You'll get it electronically via email. And then if you ever
Hmm.
have any questions, you just reach out. And the certification lasts, I believe, 3 years. But the thing is, once you have the
Okay.
knowledge is there.
Yeah. It's just finding, a way to get that knowledge and wanting to have it, I would say too.
Yep.
So that's good to know that that people can can get this information, because you
Right.
really don't know when that situation, God forbid, you never want to really be in that, to have to help somebody. But if you are chosen to be that person that's there, you do want to be equipped, because it is a serious matter.
It is. It is. And for me, suicide prevention and mental health, I mean, I get that we minimize it to 1 month, but it
Right.
should be maximized throughout the whole year because with
Right. I agree.
everything going on, the cost of living, people are not able to afford somewhere to stay. The homeless population is growing. People don't want to be alive. Like people are like, listen, I'm better off not here because this don't
Not
look like
here,
it's getting
right?
no better. Right. Nobody saw the cost of living really $4,000 for an apartment, $3,000, $2,000. And then
Yeah.
on top of that, they're telling you got to make 3 times the rent to live there.
To live there, right? It's
It's
hard,
tough out
you
here
know.
in these
And
streets.
this pandemic really has hit people, and I know from my own experience, because I have a therapist now. Thankfully, I meet with her, virtually, like we are every week. But I didn't get one right away because it was a struggle for me to even find one. I just happened to just come across a one of the websites, and was able to get someone that was available. But last year, before even my mom passed, it was like a challenge for me to even come across. And this is with having insurance, because the therapist that was either in my area or even virtual, their schedules were so full. And I don't even know if it was like that prior, to the pandemic, where it's like you couldn't even find a therapist. Now here you got people like
Hmm.
me looking for help and can't even find it, because their schedules were so packed that if you needed immediate help, you have to wait a month or 2 months, to get a therapist. And when someone's going through something,
Right.
they might need somebody that, I mean, they have, as you know, they have hotlines that you could call. But as far as like, if you're not necessarily suicidal, but just, depressed or sad, you might need to speak to somebody within that next week or two, versus it being, a 2 or 3 month
Right.
wait. And because by then you might really fall
Right.
into a
Right.
depression where you really might become, suicidal. And it's hard to go and ask for
Right.
help to begin with, and then you go and you're looking, and you can't find the help. So I think it's very important for things like, as far as suicide prevention, or even if you're not suicidal, to have this broadcast and have people sharing and promoting different numbers. It's not nothing to be ashamed about, or to frown upon. We need to know what these numbers and stuff are, and emails and people to reach out to, because you just never know. You that one moment you might need to speak to somebody, and that's what people like you are
Right.
there,
Right.
to speak to. Because
Yeah.
like you said, it's been a lot, like you said, people homeless, their rent going up, and it's a lot. And I talk to different people, and I'm talking about working people, and they're struggling, and going through things, so just imagine if you're
Exactly.
if you're not making a certain amount of money, or able to afford, where you live, and or don't have nobody there to support you. It's tough.
It is. It is. But I will definitely tell you this. There's no time limit on grief.
Yeah.
Don't allow nobody to rush you through it. Don't allow nobody to keep telling you be strong. Don't allow nobody to say to you it gets better, because take it from me, my mom's been going 9 years. It does not get better.
Hmm.
Every holiday, birthday, death date, anniversary, every accomplishment,
Right.
it
Yeah.
hurts.
It still
It's,
hurts.
it's gonna hurt. You know, and it will. It
Yeah.
will. And this is the thing that people, they don't they don't take into account when they're talking to us. They're like, oh, it's gonna get better. No, 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 no. My mother died here. That lady left here. I have no kids.
Yeah.
I didn't
Same
have a
here.
business. I
Yeah.
didn't have no
Right. I'm in the
place.
same boat.
I
We
didn't have a car.
like.
It's
Yeah.
a lot. And I'm the only child.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
Right.
like, what do you mean? And
But
I'm
you
gonna
feel
text you
like
a book that I want you
you
to
didn't
get.
get a chance to show them that.
That we work with people. It's called the Grief Recovery Method book. And it's
Okay.
assignments that go with that book. Yeah, I don't have it with me. It's in my bag.
Hmm.
But I will, I'll send you a picture of it. You can get
Yeah.
it on Amazon. It's like $11. Take
Hmm.
your time. I tell people, listen, if you're driving and you need to pull over because you're gonna break down and cry, pull over.
Yeah.
If you're
I
working, you
agree.
need to go to the bathroom. Go. Don't hold that in.
Don't hold
You
that in.
know,
Yeah.
allow yourself to grieve, and don't let nobody tell you. Yeah, don't let nobody tell you how to grieve. Who are they?
Especially when it's unique,
Like they can't.
when it's with your mother.
And it's
Right. That's a different type of grieving. I feel like
pain.
it's different. It's a whole nother level.
Let me tell you something. Losing your
Mhm.
mother and a baby.
Yeah.
3 different types of pain.
All yeah. All different. I
All
have a
different,
close
right?
friend
They can't
now who
tell you how
lost
to
her husband, and I can't explain. I can't say what that's like because I haven't lost a husband. Not I wouldn't want to.
right,
But people don't understand what
right,
she's going through either, because that's a loss, not to have the person that
exactly,
you plan a life with. So
right. That you
I
laying in bed next to every
that you
night.
laying in bed with, right? Building a whole life with, and in your 30s on top of that. It's one thing for y'all
Mm,
to be 80 years old, which is still not saying it's better, but to be 30 something and lose your husband is different. So,
I'm telling you.
I try to be empathetic towards people because people don't understand, and I can't expect them to if they haven't lost a mother or father. They
Right,
there's no way to know that.
right,
So I'm being
right.
empathetic towards people who have had other losses because of that. Because I'm like, well, I know people don't
Yep.
understand what I'm going through. Let me try to be a open ear to this next person and not assume that their pain is what I'm feeling. And each
Mm-hmm.
person's relationship is different with their moms. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? Just because you both lost a mom doesn't necessarily mean you completely understand what that other person is going through,
Woo.
vice versa. Because your relationship with your mother
Listen.
is weak.
Right.
Because and I get that. I
Yep.
have people, others who have lost their mom, and you share a lot in common. We really do share a lot in common, but there's also things that's different based on the relationship you had with your mother.
Yep. Yep.
I have some people
Ooh.
they weren't as close to their mom and things, and just wasn't the same type of relationship. Their mothers and it was different. Their relationships was different.
Yep.
So there's going to be parts that's
Absolutely.
different, but I also understand there's a lot that we do share. So I do talk to friends and family that have lost their moms because we do have that in common.
Right.
People do need that support system because it's hard for someone to talk to someone else that haven't lost their mom and talk about
Right.
that. Because
Yep.
if they haven't, before I lost my mom, I lost my father, I lost grandmothers, friends, family, but it's a different, like I said, different type of loss when you lose your mother. It actually changes you as a person.
Oh, I'm glad you said that because
You are changed as a
listen.
person the instant, and
Mm-hmm.
and for better or for worse, and you hope for the better, but you're changed in some way.
Yep. A part of you go with her.
You just hope that change is something that will allow you to heal and for you to be able to help like you're doing to help the next person that's going through it. Because
Yeah.
it's a long term thing. Like you say, you lost your mom and rest in heaven to your mom, 9 years ago. There's like you said, there's no time frame. And people
Mm-mm.
people tell me, things like you said, things get better or you just learn to deal with it. Of course you have no choice but to deal with the loss. But that doesn't mean, like you said, it doesn't hurt you still. Like you said, things different events come up and your business or baby, those things you still want them there in the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
And mentally, we all know that the logical way of things, your parents are going to go before you. It's like logically we know that
Right.
there's a natural order of things, but sometimes things happen in our eyes well before it should happen. The person is gone, way too soon, or in a tragic way, and that changes things for people.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you expect your parents to die before you, it's still hard.
Yeah.
Really, no matter what way they go, even if they're sick. My mom had different illnesses and stuff going on. I still wasn't necessarily all prepared for it, even though I
No.
knew she was sick.
Yeah.
I knew it would happen within, probably I knew my mom died at 60. I knew me and her both had an idea that she wouldn't probably see 70. You
Wow.
know what I'm saying? We both knew because all what she had that she probably wouldn't see another 10 years. But her death was still sudden in that time. And even though I had in the back of my head that she may not be here long, it still was a shock for
It
me. Even
hurts.
when you're prepared. And I have family that lost their moms, 80 years old. And it's still difficult for them. When they were in the hospice with them for months and months and still wasn't fully prepared. So
Right.
you can have time with them or you cannot have time with them in their last moments. And it's like you still feel that void. Even when you know that you might only have a couple months with them.
Yeah.
It still hits home because that loss is different. And it's not to demean, losing a father or anyone else. But a mother's loss is different. And I'm sure you could attest to that because it's just unexplainable. I'll just say it that. I'll just leave it at that. It's
Yeah.
unexplainable.
Yeah. I mean, I really feel like a part of you goes with her.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like that too.
when I tell you a piece of me left with Serena
Yeah,
Lynn, listen, you can't tell me nothing. But a piece of me, when that lady left here, was
right.
right with her. And I
With her.
became somebody totally different. And I tell people all the
Right.
time, I say, listen, me and my mother didn't have a good relationship. So I had to bury somebody I didn't know. That's first thing.
Mm, yeah,
That's hard.
that's hard.
You was expecting to have a mother-daughter relationship and you never got around to having it, and then you gotta bury
Yeah,
her. That's
right.
the first
Yeah.
thing. The second thing, my mother told me a year in advance before she left this world,
Mhm.
the like, for you to call me every day in the month of October in 2013 and tell me that you're leaving and you're dying, and then October
Mm.
2014 get here and you die.
Oh wow. Mm.
Yes. That right there for me,
Yeah. So
that
she
was a whole
knew.
different experience.
That's different. Yeah. It's just like she knew. You know what I'm saying? Like knew. Yeah. That's really different. Her last
Yep.
year.
To up until the day that she left here.
Up until today, right? Mm.
She knew. Even the day that she left here.
Yeah.
She was in the hospital. And we're gonna get back on topic, y'all. I'm sorry. But she was in the hospital and she had her second brain stroke and she couldn't talk, but my mother, for some reason, she was back alert and she was shaking her head up and
Right.
down, yes and no.
Mhm.
So to test the theory that she was her, I asked her three questions. I said, Mommy, you know I love you. They said she shook her head, yeah. I said,
Mhm.
Mommy, you want me to send you flowers? Because she always told me stop spending my money on her. She shook her head no.
Right.
I said, Mommy, are you getting better so you can come home with me? She would not
Mhm.
respond.
Mm.
8 o'clock that night, I got a call that she was no longer
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. She knew. I mean, that's something to think about. Wow.
Most heartbreaking thing ever.
Yeah. And they don't want to
So
tell
yeah,
you
if you
that.
ever need to call
Right.
me, listen. If you ever need to call me and you need me to just sit on the phone and listen, you got my number.
Right.
Call me.
Yeah. Same here as well. So I
Seriously,
appreciate
because
that.
it's hard.
It is hard. We have a comment came on. Hi, Lisa. How you doing? Lisa, I called you earlier, by the way. But she said yes, it is. She said I understand. I lost my mom, and I still miss her. It's a loss
Yeah,
that's forever, and I hear people say that often. They doesn't matter how much time has gone, and rest in peace to your mom, Lisa, as well. But you always miss your mother. And I've had friends tell me, their mom has been gone a couple years as well, and it's like you're always gonna miss her. They say it just never goes away.
yeah. It's just it's just one of those things that and that's why I tell people now. I tell my friends now who still have their mother, treat your mother right, because when she closed her
Right.
eyes,
That's it. Yeah. Like it's literally that's it.
that's it. Buy her flowers, take her on dates, do whatever you got to do.
Right. Take that time. And people are always in a hurry doing stuff, but don't hurry to go see their parents.
Yeah, I get on people about that. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Oh, you still got your mother? A lot of us in our 30s don't. So I'm gonna need
Right. We
you.
don't have it. Right. Under 40. Yeah. And lost, as far as me, lost both parents.
Right.
And,
I'm
and
gonna need you to take some time.
right.
Go sit with her.
It don't take much time, really. Like
Mm-mm.
that is the actual quality time. When people talk about quality time, that's it. Because it's not even more so just for you, it's for them too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they know that they may not be here that long. So it's just like give them that gift.
Right. Right. And that's what people don't understand. They go, oh, I gotta work. Oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I gotta do that. Like, listen, no, you have to spend time with your mama.
You really do, literally, actually spend time with them because we don't have them forever. We really
Right.
don't. We don't have as much time as we think.
Right. Right. I tell them,
Because
go
things
listen,
happen.
go learn how to make that dish that she make. That's your
Right,
favorite. Go
go make
learn how
that.
to make that sweet potato pie.
Right,
Go get some wisdom from her. Go ask her questions that you've been wanting to ask her.
right. You should. I mean, I guess for me, I had an advantage because me and my mom talked every day in some way, whether it was the phone or video or Facebook Messenger. So I really never went 48 hours. I could think, from because I lived with my mom up until I was 30. So I was already in the house with her. And then after that, we just stayed in contact. So I didn't even go 48 hours really at the most without contacting her. So
Yeah.
or her contacting me. So I guess for me, I had that advantage that I can look back and say, well, at least 37 and a half years I had, with her, with learning things and stuff. But even now I look back and I still wish, I would have asked some more about this or that, but I have to appreciate what I did have with her, what I did learn and
Yeah.
shared, and the times, so many memories I had with her. So I'm just really now at this place actually appreciating those memories. I look back at pictures, and I'm sure you do that too. You look back at photos of your loved ones, especially your mom, and you look back and you can actually remember what was happening then and stuff. And the memory is different now because you're
Yep.
like, but one thing I've learned now, my boyfriend will tell you, is enjoy, the moment now, whether it's your mom or anyone, because in the instant that moment is gone, and people so busy, like you said, talking about going to work and doing all these other things, the moment just passes by.
Mm-hmm.
Get that moment again. So it's just learning how to actually, embrace living in the moment with that person, whoever's there, and being present with them. But it's
Yep.
hard. It's real
Yeah.
hard.
Oh, yeah.
Lisa commented. She said hi. She said time, prayer. good memories keep me going. I'm so glad I took care of mom. It was a blessing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that really is a blessing to be able to say that, that you actually took time and got to spend, those moments with her. Because
definitely.
a lot of people don't get that or don't want to take the chance, to do that.
Yeah, it's
So
just one of those things that you just gotta make time for.
yeah. So I know we got off topic talking, but this
It's
is
all right.
important because this can be part of suicide prevention too. Because there's people out here who, when they lose their mom or dad, they feel like the end of the world is like that's it for them. They
Yep.
feel like you said, a part of you has gone with them. Like I said, I know I have changed as a person. A part of my heart is gone. I can tell you that straight up.
Let me tell you something.
Part of my heart is broken and is gone. Like you said
My,
with your mom.
my mother left 2014. 2 years later, I filed for divorce, October
Mm,
2016.
mm,
When I tell you a part of that lady left with me,
yeah.
listen, a part of that lady, when she left, I was like, it's like for some reason, it was just like, I'm not taking no nonsense for nothing. Like, not bashing
Nothing.
my
Right.
ex or
Right.
nothing.
I
You
get
just
it.
put out there. I ain't bashing nobody. But anything that I was uncomfortable with because she was no longer here, I'm not
Yes.
putting up with that. I ain't putting up with that. Oh,
Do-
she ain't here. I ain't
Right.
right. I ain't putting up with that.
You
Oh,
just
you don't want to
let
talk
it
to
go. Let them
friends?
go. Those situations. Yeah.
Everything. When I tell you, it's like I was just like do 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 do. Oh, bye bye bye. I ain't care.
Right.
I ain't
Because
care.
your mother's gone. So it's like this other stuff doesn't even matter.
Exactly.
It really doesn't. I'm getting to that place too, where people doing things, and I'm just like, I can't even let myself go to that place because first, my mom wouldn't want me to be down here, worrying about her or stressing about these other people, letting them, as people, my boyfriend likes to say, live rent free in your head, and they out here, doing their thing, not thinking about you. So I said, no, I can't do it. I just have to learn to let a lot of this stuff go.
You have to. My mother said to me before she got to the point where she was telling me that she was going to leave here. She said to me one day because I was on the phone with her, and she was like,
Mm,
"What's wrong, baby? Why you sound?
mm,
What's wrong?" I was like, "Mommy, I'm just stressed out." She said, "I want you to listen
yeah.
to me." And I said, "Uh-oh." Now, mind you, with a brain stroke, a person has a brain stroke, they go in and out.
Mm,
And at this moment, she was in her right mind, like
yeah.
all the way. And she said, "Let me explain something to you. Don't you let nothing or nobody stress you out and put you in no early grave." I
Mm,
said, "Oh, okay, mommy, you ain't got to worry." And I keep that with me, even to this day. Not
yeah.
a soul, not a job, not nothing.
Right.
Nothing. Because she experienced two brain strokes.
Right.
Two. She said, "Don't you allow no." She must have heard somebody talking about the fact that she must have got stressed out or whatever the case may be.
Probably.
That
Yeah.
lady told me straight up, "Don't you do it."
That's it.
Now, that's it.
That's it. I mean, you can't think of nothing more true than that.
Right.
As they say, stress can kill you. It's a real thing.
Absolutely.
You and I know people our age who not here today because of stress.
Yeah, no, I don't have time for it. I
Literally
dismiss
don't
you.
have
It,
time.
whatever it is, got to go. I'm not,
Gotta
no,
go.
not doing it.
Person, place, a thing.
Okay.
Janelle
Quickly.
said, "I love this."
Quickly.
It's just, it's real. People don't
Yeah.
like to think that, but it's true. And letting these people, like you said, in the job and all this stuff and financial, none of this stuff needs to be on the top of our forefront.
Mm-mm.
It really don't. At the end of the day, it's like really looking at what actually matters and who matters in your life.
Listen, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say on this particular
Yeah.
topic. I've left jobs without giving 2 weeks notices.
I have too. People looking at me like, why? But I mean, I didn't do that with the ones I had good relationship with, but I have in the past and then think twice about it.
Right.
Because it's like my mental health, like we're talking about tonight, was too
Is
important.
more important.
More important. Janera said so true. It's your mental health is for real. It's like the number one thing.
Right.
Whether it comes to your job or your relationship.
Anything that costs my peace is too expensive.
Right, it's too expensive. I agree. We're going to get back into it, even though I love this discussion. We need to have a whole nother show now on 4 different topics in this. Because sometimes when things come up, you just have to let it out, speak your mind about it.
Right.
I think that's
we don't know who's listening and who will rewatch it. Right.
Yeah. Thank you, Shanice. She says so proud of you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, like I said, I feel like we got different conversations going on, but I know our main topic is suicide prevention, but because of the loss, that we share, with losing our moms and just other topics we just discussed, I felt like we needed to talk about that. But we can say that, say
right,
that
we're gonna roll it back in.
we'll come back to that. The next question I had on here, I wanted to ask: is suicide a chemical imbalance or depression, or are there other factors involved?
So, all of it, all of the above. For majority of people out there that did commit suicide, they were going through depression. A few facts that I'm going to squeeze in here: over 45,000 people per year take their life. The youngest person that took their life was 6. And 60 to 90% of people, before they commit suicide, they tell someone the week leading up to it, except that the person doesn't do anything about it.
Shanair said, wow. Yeah.
They don't do anything about it. So it's one of those things where, especially as a mental health coach, like, I'm not a clinician, I'm not a licensed therapist, right? And I always tell people to make sure you go, seek therapy, talk to, it's very sad. Talk, get you some help, right? But there's also natural ways as well. Depression, there are many different types of depression. You could be going through financial depression, you can be going through environmental depression, right? You want to ask people, what's wrong? Why do you feel that way? What's going on to the point that you feel the need to, want to end your life, right? So it's all of the above. But my thing is, like I said, listening to people when they're going through it, right? Because we have enough licensed professionals that are either throwing you on medication, telling you have a co-occurring disorder, right? Nobody sits and listen, and that's my problem. My problem is nobody takes the time to sit and listen. People go through a lot in life, and trauma is one of the root causes of feeling suicidal, right? So for me, when I had my second attempt, I was going through, as you saw in the reel, I was going through a divorce. I had a miscarriage at 24. I had lost my mother. I was sexually assaulted as a child. I went through child abuse. Both of my parents was on drugs. By the time I hit 28, 29, so I was done.
You were done.
I was like, listen, this is thing, gotta go. Ain't no hope in this. What's the purpose? I don't want to deal with this anymore. Like, I saw no light at the end of the tunnel. There was nothing, right? But I was going through, I would call it depression, because at the end of the day, again, I didn't have nobody to talk to about my mother. When my mother left, I had 2 weeks off of work. The week she died and the week I buried her, I was right back at work because I had to pay bills.
Right. I had to go to work too.
Yeah, like, so I'm breaking down. I'm breaking down. Right.
I'm like, well, you must be a millionaire then, because don't tell me. And I'm talking about family members have said that to me. They're like, oh, I couldn't go back to work after losing my mom. And I'm like, well, in that situation, yes, I would love to be home. I would have loved to be home more than 2 weeks.
Right.
A whole year if I
could.
But could I do that? No. And then and my mom will understand that my child has to go back to work. Right. I wasn't necessarily in the right mindset when I went back to work either. The first week up until my mom was buried, there was a lot as far as her life insurance and all that. So I was very stressed out. I lost 14 pounds, in a month. from, after losing my mom, from not sleeping and eating, as I'm sure you probably understand.
Yeah.
And people looking at me like, oh, I couldn't have done that. Well, you weren't in my situation either.
Right. And everybody don't want to be put on medication.
No, they don't.
We just plug that in. Like,
right.
Like, I have no problem going to a therapist. I have no problem speaking to a licensed professional. But guess what? People don't. We don't want to be. We don't want to go sit in your office for you to listen to me for 20 minutes and go, "Oh, okay, you lost your mother. All right, you're going through a stage of grief, which is I ain't gonna even get into that right now. But you're going through a stage of grief. We're gonna throw you on some depression medication, right? And it's like, who said I was on medication? Right. Why you can't just listen to me then?
Right, like you said, active listening. People just need someone to listen to.
Right. I mean, yes. Was I depressed?
Right.
Yeah.
I was just reading some of the comments because it's relating to what you're saying, Na-Tasha.
Yeah, because
it's anxiety, depression. That's what happened to me. Shanair said earlier, trauma is one of the top. Oh, we are right. Can you hear me?
I heard some background noise there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it was a bit.
I can't hear you anymore.
Can you hear me now?
Oh.
What is
MJ,
going on
can
here?
You hear me? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm hearing static. Okay. I might have to sign back in.
Okay.
Okay. I think I'm back.
You good?
Yeah, I just have static. I'm gonna sign back on.
Okay, so we're gonna sign out and sign back in?